All right, so let's look at this particular work order. It says program 9 caused an alarm. We were able to get around it, or we were able to run a different program to get around it. So let's see if we see what the error is. Let's look at our feedback screen here. And just says failed. Um, so what would be your first step? I would go check the program and see what program 9 is supposed to do. Now, we messed with program 9 earlier. The question is it the same program, or would this be in a different simulation? What would we do? So we hook up our laptop, PLC, go online. So right away, you should see an error here, and it is based off the feedback of the work order. So what error do you see? All right, so hopefully you saw that we had the wrong program loaded, and it said they found one that would work. And this one, when we read it, says we're going to fill it up to 85% with intake 1. Excuse me, 40% with intake 1 and 85 from intake 2. And then we're going to agitate and pump, so forth and so on. And it's going to repeat. So 40% intake 1, excuse me, I'm sorry, 85% with intake 2. So we need to get the right program. So we're going to come over here to File, Open, and we're going to program 9 because that's what they said they needed working. So we're going to say PLC, and we're going to download it into our PLC. And this one says same thing, 40% intake 1, 85% intake 2. But then it says the mixture is agitated and heated to 70 degrees. Now, with the other program, we weren't heating. So that being at least one difference we see, that's a suspect at least. So what we're going to do is we're going to try it out. So we got the right program in, we've downloaded it into our PLC. We're running program 8, and let's just see. All right, you should see the alarm lamp on. I'll bring up that on the screen so you can see a little bigger. And I'm going to bring up temperature a little bigger. So hopefully you see there's an issue because we know this long lines are set temp. So what is the issue? All right, so if you answered we're getting too hot, you're absolutely right. And we can go to our reference and we can look at RIO. We have to be somewhat in a hurry because we do cool down. But let's just see where our alarm temp, it's bit 7. Now bit 6 should be on because we definitely reached 70 degrees, but the problem is we went over it. Aha! Bit 7 is on, showing us we went over it, but bit 6 is not on. So something has to close when the temperature reaches at least 70, and we went even higher. That seems like a problem. Why would we show a temperature of above 70 degrees, but not show a temperature of 70 degrees? And these are not intelligent in that they know 70 plus or minus an amount. They know less than 70 or 70 or greater is the way this particular switch works. So we never turned on. Now we can verify that easily enough. We know that, let's remember, we know that 6 is 70 and 7 is above 70. That gets us an alarm state. So we see 70's cooled down enough, it's no longer coming on, but we still are above the 70 degree mark, so we should be on. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drain our fluid. We're going to be licking our reference one more time. And we know that 6 should come on. And if it does come on, we should never get to 7. It should cut us off once we hit 6. So we're going to see if we see 6 come on and then 7. But I think what we're going to find is only 6 comes on and not 7. I'm going to get it where you can see the temperature sensor too. All right, so we're going to reset our alarm. And we're going to hit start. And what we're going to be watching for is to see if we do see that progression. If we see 6 ever come on, which is our 70 degree. All right, so we're filling the tank. Stage intake 2 is coming in. As soon as we get 85%, we should start heating. And lamp 6 should come on our input when we reach 70 degrees C. So let's see if that happens. It does not, just as we suspected. And we hit 70. I mean, we hit the high temp. So we never hit our 70, but we did hit our high temp. So we definitely got a problem there. So my next question is, what might you do next? Okay, so the question I would have would be, is the temperature switch closing at 70? And I have to hurry because we can see my temperatures drop quite a bit. So I'm going to lock it out. I'm going to verify it's dead. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take off the caps off this one. And I'll show you how I know this is the temperature switch that I should be looking at if I can hurry. Trying to hurry too fast. Take these caps off and I'm going to disconnect one side. Might as well disconnect both. That way we know we're truly looking at the switch here. And I'm going to put it on ohms. And we know this switch should close at 70 or above. And I'm reading open. So that seems kind of problematic. If I had it backwards, it would definitely close when we drop below 70. So I'm going to wait a few minutes. I'm going to pause the video until we get there. But you can see that this switch is saying it is open right now. And all right, so you can readily see we're below 70 and the status of our switch temperature sensor has not changed. So we were right. It should have closed at 70 and above, and it didn't. And of course, if it closes at 70, it's not going to get above because at that point the heat would go off. So we have a potential for a bad temperature switch. So we're locked out. So I'm going to break out our device that lets us change out our temperature switch. And I can remove it and test it. So again, why would I not want to do that? So I'm going to do that. I got to drain it. So that means I got to go through some things here. Got to put everything back like it was. And because if we try to pull out a sensor that's inside of a tank with a full tank, guess what happens? So I got to put everything back the way it was. And get our tank back on. And we got to drain it. And the way I know that is I hover over it. It tells me temperature switch 1. It tells me 2, TS2, TS1, TS2. So that's how I knew I had the right one. And we're going to let it drain out. And we're going to shut it off, lock it out, and verify it's dead. And we're going to come back here. And we're going to try to change it out. And we're going to test it. The temperature switch does not close at the set temperature. Well, we kind of already knew that. So we're going to hit replace. And now we're going to remove our lock and we're going to test our system and we're going to see if we fixed it. And before it was getting too hot, it should get to the normal temperature line, the 70-degree line, and then stop. Let's see if it does. And it did. And we got to wait for the other cycles. And wait again. Now drain. And we passed. So we had to go through some iterations. The very first thing we had to do was look at our work order. It said they used a program that worked around it. Well, they did work around it, but the problem was they never heated the fluid. And so that's why they got a failed, because they were using program 8, which didn't turn on the heat. And so they were kind of telling us something there. So we inserted program 9, and we saw we got a high temperature alarm, but we also saw that our 70-degree temperature switch never closed. So we honed into that a little more. We verified that the switch operated like we thought. It was supposed to close at 70 degrees C. It didn't. We took it out, replaced it, tested it, and put a new one back in, and got it fixed.